In our first story tonight, Vice President Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia says government is setting up a special committee to tackle the menace of illegal mining activities. Speaking at a natural resource conference under the theme Natural Capital Accounting, Key for Sustainable Natural Resource Management in Ghana, the Vice President assured stakeholders in the lands and minerals sector concerted efforts to protect and maximize the gains of Ghana's lands and natural resources are underway.
At the same time, you want a sustainable environment. And sometimes the more you try to get these income opportunities or realize them, by degrading your environment, you are causing more problems down the road for your economy. And so there is this issue of balance that we always have to try to attain in environmental management. Next key issue that should be addressed is to what uses we put the revenues we generate from our natural resources, including the purposes of maintaining and sustaining resource availability. For example, replenishing tree stocks, and for the measures we are putting in place for a time in the future when the revenues actually dry up. We must ask ourselves, what is the best way of doing all these in a responsible, judicious manner? Finally, it way past the time when as a country we should be taking a hard, close look at adding value to the natural resources we have been blessed abundantly with. No country has progressed in a transformational way by simply exporting its natural resources without at some point seeking to maximize the benefits along the value chain. Ghana is a resource-rich country, and as the President and Akufo-Addo has said, we have no reason to be poor if we can manage these resources prudently.
Now, government says it is yet to take a decision on extending its program with the IMF. There have been reports the country would be forced to extend the program after April 2018 because it cannot meet all the targets before the proposed completion date. The IMF country representative to Ghana, Natalia Koliadina, has told Joy Business government has a final say on the issue, while Deputy Finance Minister designate Kweku Kwarteng says government is committed to taking decisions that will be of interest to the economy.
Is considering the option suggested to it by the IMF for an extension of the program. Government will make a decision in due course. If government makes that decision, we will consider bringing it to Parliament. If we decide not to continue, that decision may not have to come to Parliament. In any event, in the past, the IMF programs have not been brought to Parliament. We have criticized it. Going forward, we will try to correct the situation because an IMF program effectively gives you money, even though we call it balance of payment support. Essentially, it is money they are giving you. Ghanaians will have to pay back this money, and therefore we consider that it is an agreement that must come to Parliament. If we are going to extend the program, we will come to Parliament. But if we are not, then our focus will be on how we deal with the challenges ourselves and take Ghana out of the difficulties of the economy we see now.
All right, let's turn to one of our other top stories this evening. Demand for dollars by businesses from banks has witnessed some significant reduction over the past week. Joy Business's checks indicate a sudden decline in dollar support for imports. But what is driving this development, and is this sustainable? George Rafe has more in this report.
Some players in the forex market are attributing the development to what is being described as a wait-and-see attitude by businesses that don't want to commit themselves to any dollar transactions for now because they believe the local currency might be stabilizing strongly against the dollar very soon. Some firms that were rushing to import goods over the past months are actually putting it on hold for now because they believe they could be making some savings if the Ghana Cedi really stabilizes. Another reason for the Cedi's performance, according to market players, is a decision by some investors to return their dollars to invest in local bonds and positive reactions to policies outlined in the 2017 budget. Deputy Finance Minister designate Kweku Kwarteng says government is committed to implementing budget policies to quickly help strengthen the city's performance.
The capping of earmark funds and the improvement in revenue, the rationalization of expenditure. The objective is to get government to live within its means. What we are determined to do is to take charge of those factors we have control over to ensure that if the city will not be stabilized at all, it will not be something coming from the mismanagement of the economy.
The development could go a long way to reduce the cost of living, and some are even attributing the about 4% reduction in price of petroleum products to the recent performance of the Ghana cedi. You may now need about 4 Ghana cedis 55 pesos to get $1, compared to 4 Ghana cedis 80 pesos that was quoted by some banks earlier this month. However, some are of the opinion it might be too early to be excited about what is happening, because the underpinning factors that caused the depreciation have not really been addressed.
Now, the Trade and Industry Ministry has hinted of plans to soon introduce some new initiatives aimed at boosting the Made in Ghana campaign. This, according to Sector Minister Alan Tremanting, is part of strategies to drive government's industrialization agenda towards transforming the economy. Industry players have highlighted the need for empowering the local manufacturing sector in achieving this goal. Alan Tremanting tells Joy Business government will build on other past initiatives to drive the agenda.
You know the record of our government in the past. We talked about making Ghana believe in itself, in its own products. You're talking about the textile industry. We talked initially some years ago about Ghanaians patronizing locally produced textile fabric. And that's how come you have this Friday where all of you are, except you. So basically, we already have made a commitment in the past, and we're going to continue that with that same commitment to ensure that Ghanaians patronize locally made goods. That is leading by example. And so we've demonstrated that we are introducing mechanisms and interventions that will help Ghanaians patronize locally made products.
We want to take you to the Ashanti region now. Some interesting developments from over there. Some business operators and consumers in Kumasi are reportedly refusing to accept the new 5 Ghana cedi notes that went into circulation on the 7th of March for their transactions. There are some reported cases of rejection by a number of market players who are refusing to use them as legal tender. Prince Apia reports some even see the new note as counterfeit, while others consider it a foreign currency.
The 5 Ghana cedi notes, according to the central bank, was introduced as a commemorative note to celebrate 60 years of both the Bank of Ghana and the nation Ghana. But since its introduction and circulation on March 7, it has been greeted with mixed reactions. Hajia Mumuni sells Tozafi at Tech Junction, a suburb of Kumasi. She is one of the many traders with experience of people refusing the new notes.
Because it's kind of me who am safe to Obi the Betua na say when
I saw the money, I thought it was safer from Togo. I went to the market the other day. My supplier refused the money. They complain it's small and could be counterfeit. That is why I also don't accept it. They should change it if possible.
Too much.
The situation is not restricted to food vendors and traders. Some commercial drivers and commuters experience daily misunderstanding with passengers over the new notes.
A lot of mates have been rejecting it, and due to that, I can't use it. It's still in my wallet, because when you buy things where the people refuse to take it, because not everyone has seen it in the system, so it's difficult to use it right now. So
a passenger gave us the money After work, I wanted to buy porridge, but the seller nearly fought me, claiming it was counterfeit. I had to give her the old note because she was creating a scene.
Meanwhile, Kumasi-based think tank Center for Economic and Business Research wants education intensified as the new notes flood the market. Gordon Newlever-Samoa is executive director.
But when there's no education, people do not have any idea Bank of Ghana is bringing any new 5 cedis note into the system. It becomes difficult for people to accept. So I think we should intensify the education on it.
Prince Apia reporting.
And I really don't know what to say about that story. Well, moving on, almost all the waste management companies in Ghana are only collecting waste rather than managing and adding value for maximum economic benefits. That's according to Chief Executive of Tidy Up Ghana, Stephen Kofi Ampofo, who says it's about time companies took the operations a notch higher. He spoke to Joy Business at the inauguration of Tidy Up's solid waste transfer station at Malam here in Accra.
Tidy Up Ghana is arguably the first waste management company to move away from the conventional way of managing solid waste to the use of state-of-the-art technology. The Chief Executive Officer, Stephen Kofi Ampofo, says the company is poised to change the face of waste management in the country. He explained this to Joy Business at the inauguration of Tidy Up Solid Waste Transfer Station at Malam here in Accra.
What we are using now are waste compaction machines, and these machines are enclosed. They are environmentally friendly because they eliminate the nuisance of waste. That is the elimination of flies and, in short, pests from getting into our waste in our communities. And again, because of the compaction nature of the equipment we use, we are able to take large volumes of waste as compared to the open containers that are currently in the system. You see, waste management is reducing the amount of waste that goes to the landfill site. So if we are not able to reduce the amount of waste that goes to the landfill site, then we are not managing waste. So what we are doing in Ghana is waste collection. We are only collecting waste. No company in Ghana is managing waste. That is what they do because they can't afford the recovery equipment to be able to recover the waste and turn it into useful, resource.
Tidy Up Ghana has invested about 2.5 million Ghana cedis in equipment with a capacity of processing up to 30 tons of waste at a go. This was all through the support of the Help Station, the Entrepreneurship Development Initiative of Premium Bank. Kwesi Tumi is the managing director of Premium Bank.
It wasn't just about money. It's also about direction. It was about capacity. It was about linkages. It was about market. It was about a vision. It was about how far he can go. Because anything that would make a business grow, that's what the Help Station does. We have every department that every bank should have, like all the other banks have. But in addition to that, we have a unit, which is the Help Station, which is manned by a different set of people whose business it is to go out, in some cases, hunting for business. In fact, we have what we call sometimes pitch days, where people just come and tell us what their ideas are. We have competitions that we organize such that the best people whose ideas are what we think would be fruitful, are what we use, as it will help them to develop their businesses further.
Tidy Up Ghana is responsible for the waste collection at Ghana Ports and Harbour Authority's facility and residences in the Sekondi Takoradi metropolis. It is also in charge of the service and maintenance of the only runway sweeper operating at the Kotoka International Airport in Accra, Ghana. The company is also in Nigeria, where it has installed 2 mobile park bin waste compactors with loading buckets at the prestigious Lagos Polo Club.
Most Ghanaian businesses are unable to survive beyond the second generation, especially with the demise of the founder. This has been attributed to failure of founders to plan seriously for their business succession. Now, speaking on the executive lounge, CEO of DDP Outdoor Limited, Togbo Mensah said founders must desist from only concentrating on family members as successors and must look at other partnerships that will benefit the growth of their businesses.
I realize also that in Ghana or in Africa, big business people have died and their business have died. Many, I mean, tons of them. Rich people. All of a sudden, Azim Masih is dead. I say, is that not Azim Masih's place? Yes. What happened? Yes. Yes. Because everything is me, me, me. But we die, don't we? Yeah. So, why do you think that when you die, your children will take it over? Who told you your children will take over? Follow the way people do business abroad. That there's a company, there's somebody's interest, not my interest. So when you go, the other people say, your children. Your children have got other interests. They are medical people, they are what other things. But why do you force them to do the job you do? Why? If you're lucky to have a child who, by grace of God, will do the job better than you, fantastic. But how many? In Ghana, how many? You have many, many tons of rich people. Now they say Ban. Who is Ban? I'm sure who is Ban. Ban used to be the richest Ghanaian alive those days. Factories and everything. He's got children who went abroad and everything. Where is he? I can go on and on. So as we grow in business now, the young people you're talking about, they have a future if we integrate. Integrate means that invite other partners, make the job bigger. Other people have interest in it. So the DDP or its companies will stay for as long as possible. Longer than me. Ford is dead. His children, one of two children, took over. Now an Indian man is taking over Ford. Coca-Cola is headed by somebody else from somewhere. It's not about the Coca-Cola, the guy. That's it. That's how business is done. But in Africa, it's me. Oh, you. No.
So don't forget to make a date, Executive Lounge at 5 p.m. on this same channel. Want to take a look at how the stocks are faring at the end of this week? Joining us on the phone line now, Bethel Atibiga of Gold Coast Fund Management. Good evening to you, Bethel. You promised a livelier market on Monday. Did we see that happen?
Let's say the market did quite well because we saw over 1 million shares trading by close of day. And we had 4 equities moving and their previous share price. So it's quite positive. So the total continues to gain on the exchange, adding 4 pesos to its previous share price of 4 cedis 96 pesos to close at 5 Ghana cedis per share. And we also had UT Bank dropping a Tesla to 4 pesos per share from 5 pesos previous day's trade. Cow also lost better. Yesterday we saw cow come down by a Tesla, and today it has gone down by a Tesla again to close at 73 pesos per share. And then GCB, which is one of our top picks for this week, also added some pesos to close at 5. And it's actually GCB that closed at 5 Ghana cedis, total close at 2 Ghana cedis, 17 pesos, going down by 2 pesos. So these are the movers that we had today. A total of 1,469,700 shares traded, giving us a worth of over 2.2 million Ghana cedis on the exchange for today.
Okay, and we also understand that MTN Telecoms firm, MTN, has started the process of floating 35% of its shares. Tell us about that. What do we know so far?
Yes, the giant MTN Ghana is undergoing the process of floating 35% of its shares for the Ghanaian public to own part of the company, and we know it's been the biggest and one of the successful telcos currently operating in Ghana with a subscriber, like one of the highest subscriber base. And after it obtained its 4G license in 2016, it actually increased its revenue to an unprecedented height, and that was very, very high. Their latest financial results reveals that the company made 7.5 million daily as revenue in 2016. And their total revenue also went up to 2.77 billion Ghana cedis as of a close of year, December 2016. And if you compare this to previous year, there was an increment of 19.8%. So this impressive performance of the company was highly or strongly supported by the data services that it provided. and their latest 4G network that they gave out. And all these businesses have actually contributed to about 42% of their total revenue. And the CEO, that's Mr. Ebenezer Sante, is expecting to invest about 143.7 million in capital expenditure in 2017. And this is to enable the company to expand 4G accessibility to all the 10 regions in Ghana. And this is one of the biggest things that we are expecting. We're expecting more silicon to list on the exchange, and SPN is actually going to float 35% of shares. It's a very good buy that investors can actually look out for. So it's a good thing, and we expect more people to patronize when it's finally, because it has undergone all the tech requirements. It has met all the necessary requirements according to the Securities and Exchange Commission, and we're expecting it to list on the exchange very, very soon. It will actually boost liquidity on the Ghana Stock Exchange as well. So since it's actually projected also to grow its revenue by close of 2017, so investors should look out for this exchange that's MTN on the Ghana Stock Exchange.
All right, thanks very much. That was Bertha Atibiga of Gold Coast Fund Management updating us on how the stocks fared this week. You're still watching Business Live. We want to turn to our interview of the day. And former Minister of State for Public-Private Partnership, Rashid Pelpo, says provisions in the 2017 budget statement will crowd out available money for private sector expansion. He says government's plan to borrow up to 4 billion this year locally will not stimulate local business.
The challenge that they have identified as a major challenge for them, which is that they have very small physical space to operate. If you have a very small physical space to operate, and you still go ahead, behaving as if you are a Father Christmas, then it sounds like you are not serious, or that there's some deceit, element of deceit to the public. Because here is a government that complains of too much debt, they are complaining of too much commitments, they are complaining that there's no space for them to spend money, and the source of money that they are supposed to get to boost the economy, they are cutting it further. And so you don't understand what exactly they mean. And their reliance is on casting the tax net wider. But this is not a permanent source of income. And the second one is that they are borrowing more than 4 billion Ghana cedis from the public this year, in this budget year. If you are borrowing this much money, how are you going to prop up businesses? Where is business going to get the money? Because the more government borrows, the easier it is for the banks to operate without the poor businessman who wants to come there without enough collateral. So they will crowd out the businesses that they think they are going to stimulate and encourage, and they are going to give all the money to the government, and it will come down to a worse situation, yes.
In terms of where money will come from for them to undertake the various projects and be the Father Christmas, as you refer to them. Let's say, for example, they'll cut down on wasteful expenditure, and that when it comes to road construction during your term, some of those amounts were very much on the high side, and they look forward to some of those savings helping them fund all of the freebies that they are promising. Do you get the sense that's sustainable?
My worst fear about this government is that they may not have understood the economy they have inherited. They may not also have understood the working of an economy that can take us to a higher level middle income country. That's why they have made so many bizarre promises, which are going to suck down the economy, which is going to suck a lot of money also from the economy. The expectation of income, as they have indicated, cannot be the reason they are doing all these things. And my take on it is that I believe that given all the circumstances, they are not going to get enough money to do their free education, to pay off the nurses and teacher trainees allowances, and to do the one dam, one village, one district, $1 million. If you put all of it together and look at the kind of economy we are running, it's going to be a problem. So that is not going to be sufficient.
All right, so that's our show tonight. Thanks for watching. My name is Daryl Kwao. Keep up to date on our website, myjoyonline.com/business. Enjoy your weekend.